What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris Style
Am all.
Podcast, episode 196, Takeover Wednesdays. Hope everybody's having a good night. Whatever you're doing, you're at home, you're at work. We appreciate y'all tapping into the live stream. If you're listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. Leave a comment in the comment section. We got a lot of stuff to get into. College football week 3. Canelo Crawford fight week. The fight is Saturday. We will be talking about that and giving our predictions. Then we got week 2 of NFL football. Of course, Maul's random news. We'll give our BetUs surefire picks. We'll also give y'all some tips on fantasy football this week, and we'll give our top 10 power rankings for the NFL too. So before we do all that, Maul, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Apologies for, the lateness that we are doing today. Got off work a little late and then had a little bit of technical difficulties. But man, I'm excited to talk about it, man. Big fight weekend. Some big football games coming up, man. So excited to talk about everything.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. All right, man. Let's get into week 3, man. Some of the games we ain't gonna cover everything, but just some of the bigger games. I'll pull this up real quick. All right. So here are some of the week 3 matchups that are coming up on this week. Um, you got Georgia facing Tennessee. Then you have Colorado facing Houston. You got Clemson facing Georgia Tech. You got Wisconsin at Alabama. You got USC at Purdue. You got South Florida facing Miami. You got Arkansas at Ole Miss. You got your Florida Gators at LSU. You got Texas A&M facing Notre Dame, and you got Vanderbilt facing South Carolina. And I know UNLV is facing Miami, Ohio. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, how you feeling about these matchups? Georgia versus Tennessee. How you feeling about that one?
That one I'm very intrigued, man. I think Tennessee has been playing very, very, very. Excuse me, I can't even talk right now. Very well. The starting quarterback for Tennessee, who's taken over Nico, I think his last name is Aguilar. He's played really amazing. Obviously they haven't. This will be their toughest, competition that they faced so far this year. Earlier in the season, obviously Georgia has had. They haven't looked as as destructive, as dominant as we have been accustomed to seeing Georgia be. So I'm
Mhm.
very curious to see how this matches up between these two teams. We're really going to get a real deep dive into whether Tennessee is capable of actually competing with the likes of Georgia, an elite SEC team, and if they can actually compete for an SEC title and actually get a high seed going into the playoffs. So I'm very excited to see that game.
Yeah, me too. Definitely want to see two powerhouses in the SEC go at it. And these two have, Tennessee has always been right at the doorstep, but for whatever reason, they never can get over the hump. In Georgia, I think NILs have kind of, they still get the top, 5-star recruits, but I do think NIL has kind of thinned that out.
Yeah,
They, just like Alabama, they don't get every 5-star recruit going there because everybody's going to other teams nowadays because of NILs.
mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see if Georgia can, like you said, they're not the dominant force that they've been the past few years, but they're still a viable national championship contender. So this will be a good one for them. Seeing Stockman, see how he looks in this game, and then like you said, Aguilar, how he looks in this game. So this will be a good quarterback matchup for sure.
Who you got for the win?
I'm gonna go with Tennessee actually for the upset.
No, Tennessee. I'm gonna go with Georgia. I still got to kind of see it to believe it with Tennessee. You know what I mean, especially with these big games. But
Hmm.
I do expect this to be a close game though. But I'm gonna go with Georgia.
For sure. Then you have Colorado at Houston. I know that Colorado has announced that they are starting that third string quarterback. I think his
Okay.
name Ryan Stubar. I think his name is. Forgive me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong. So he will be getting the start. So it's going to be interesting to see how he looks, and it's going to be interesting to see how this affects Kadar and Julian Lewis. I think Julian Lewis will be a little bit more patient because he was already not going to start. So I think he'll be fine. But Kadar, this might be, something he might be like, you know what,
Yeah.
enter the transfer portal and go somewhere else. But
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see this kid because if anything, if he plays bad, you could always put K Door, you could put Julian Lewis in the game. So I'm not too familiar about Houston, but I do expect this to be a high scoring game. But I'm gonna roll with Colorado in this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Houston pulls this one out.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that Colorado's kind of playing this quarterback by committee. Whoever has the hottest hand at this particular point, I don't think Dion trusts anybody. He's in this new era. You know what I mean? He's been so attached to the hip with his son Shador. He's in a new realm. You know what I mean? As being the head coach, so I'm sure he's trying to find a trust within one of these quarterbacks. And stick with him, but until then, I'm sure it's going to be a quarterback by committee. I agree with you. I haven't watched too much of Houston, so I'm not really familiar with their game. But if I'm gonna choose, man, I'm always gonna ride with Dion, man, in Colorado. I think they'll go into Houston and win that game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I do think it's gonna be high scoring though, so
Yeah.
be a lot of points scored.
Hmm.
You got Clemson going to Georgia Tech. Um, Clemson didn't look too good last week against Troy, but they ended up pulling it out in the second half. It'd be interesting to see how they look if they wake up in this game. Because if they don't, Georgia Tech can take them out. But it's looking like Georgia Tech backup quarterback is playing in this game. I don't know.
Oh,
Is
he
it?
is. It's not King.
Yeah, because according to this thing, the backup quarterback looks like he's starting. So I don't know. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Let me see. I'm looking it up right now.
Georgia Tech.
Um, Let me see. It's good recovery from a head of visit from North Carolina. It says he might play.
Okay. Okay, so this was these look good. Now, yeah, because if Haynes King does play, that's going to be a matchup problem for Clemson because with his legs and his
Mhm.
arm talent, it's going to be a problem for them. But Clemson, they should have the horses on their defensive line and linebacker crew to be able to match up good with Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech, they've been emerging these past few years and getting better and better. But I'm a roll with Clemson because I still think they're the better team. I wouldn't be. I hear everybody with Georgia Tech, but I'm a roll with Clemson on this one. I think they got a wake up call last week, and I think they're gonna come out here with high energy and ready to go.
Yeah. Honestly, I was unfamiliar that King was hurt like that, and he potentially could not play. But after reading some things, it seems like it's heading in a positive direction. If he does play and he's able to move the way I'm accustomed to seeing him move, this was going to be my upset pick. So I'm gonna lead towards that. If he doesn't play, then I'm gonna take Clemson. But if King plays and he's able to move around and have this offense moving like I've seen him capable of doing, I think Georgia Tech will upset Clemson. I do not trust Clemson. I do not trust Dabo. I do not trust Cade Klubnik. He has not shown me anything to the contrary. This team hasn't been able to put up over 30 points these last 2 weeks. Obviously, they played a tough opponent, LSU, but Troy, that was a pretty disappointing aspect to that game. Obviously, they were able to regroup in the second half and put on a better performance. But even then, it still wasn't too impressive to me.
Mm,
So I'm gonna go with Georgia Tech. I think it's gonna be upset. I'm gonna put the prediction that King's gonna play, and they're gonna be grooving like they have been these last couple weeks. And I think they win, especially at home. I like it.
for sure. You got Wisconsin. They're traveling to Alabama. There's been a lot of much made about Alabama and their start. The blowout loss to Florida State, and then they traveled last week. I forgot who they played last week, but it was not it was a cupcake
Yeah, they dog
team.
walked them. Yeah, they
They
dog walked
they
them.
blew
Yeah.
them out. I get hope. See if they gave the Simpson kid a little bit more confidence in this Alabama team, more confidence. Now I think Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Williams, I think his name is the
Hmm.
receiver. I think he's out. I think he got hurt. Um,
Okay.
but I still expect Georgia. I still expect Alabama to handle business. Um, it could be interesting, yeah, but I just think I think Alabama's the better team. So
If this was a situation where Alabama was going to Wisconsin, I would say it would be a little bit tougher matchup. But I think Alabama is going to steamroll Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin traveling to Alabama. I think it seemed like they got their confidence back after that tough loss against Florida State, and then honestly, Florida State just might be really that good. You know what I mean? Kind of like what we stated after that week that we saw Alabama. I just think it was just a tough matchup. At home, Florida State. It could be different if it's on a neutral site. I wouldn't be surprised if we got this matchup. But I think Alabama's a really, really solid team. Jacob, I don't think Alabama is washed. I don't think Alabama's washed at all. I think they got solid talent. I think the talent compares to any of the top teams like LSU or anything like that. I just think it was just a bad week against Florida State. But it seemed like they played tough. So I'm gonna roll with Bama, and I think they win pretty handily.
For sure. You got USC traveling to Purdue, Boilermakers. I think his name was Jaden Maivia,
Yep.
quarterback for for USC. I expect USC to win. They came out to a strong start so far, and I don't see no reason why they could lose. I mean, I know Purdue has been looking good these past few years, but I'm a roll. I'm a roll with USC. I think USC is going to pull it out because of the quarterback play.
I think this is going to be a tough matchup for USC. I think it's going to kind of tell us a lot about USC and the trajectory for this team if they're able to handle a tough road environment in Purdue. We know that kind of atmosphere. I know people aren't really too familiar with the Purdue atmosphere because obviously they haven't been in a lot of big games, but Purdue has a pretty decent atmosphere. For them to travel, it's always tough for a West Coast team to travel to, Midwest, East Coast. It's always a little bit tougher, especially in a Big Ten environment. So I'm still going to go USC. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. Purdue is 2-0. They have looked pretty impressive. So, but I'm going USC. I think that offense has looked really good. And I'm going to put faith in what they got going on. And I think they'll go on and show that they could be a legitimate team trying to compete in the Big Ten.
Plus, what's your name is over there? Barry Odom.
Yeah, Barry Odom. So it's gonna be a tough game. I think it's gonna be a really tough game. It's gonna be one of those games where I think we get a good temperature on both of these teams and where they could potentially be in the Big Ten competing against the bigger squads like Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan.
Mm-hmm. You got UF's University of South Florida traveling to Miami to face the Canes. To face the Canes. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I tell you right now, the Byron Brown kid, he could put himself on the map if
100%.
he wins this game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already kind of put himself on the map, but he could really put himself on the map if he outduels Carson Beck or at least hangs with Carson Beck and they win this game. But I'm going to go with Miami. I just think Miami is, I think that Carson Beck is locked in. He understands the situation from last year, and I think he's been motivated from the disappointment of last year playing in Georgia, getting hurt and all that stuff. I think he's motivated. I've always said I don't think the pressure is as on him as it was in Georgia, but I think he's playing a lot more comfortable. I don't think he has all that pressure on him. And he's got nice talent with the kid Fletcher, the running back Fletcher, Tony, CJ Daniels. Like they got a nice little squad over there. Bain, the kid on the defensive line. So I'm gonna roll with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, honestly, I can't stand USF. They beat my Gators. It's really Billy Napier that I can't stand. But that USF defense was really, really good. I was really truly impressed by that defense. I'm gonna be curious to see how they go up against Miami. I think Carson Beck. I think right now, currently, I know it's really early in the season. I think he should be the Heisman leader as far as like on the totem pole right now. I think he's been truly impressive. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game. I'm very curious to see how that USF defense goes up, and then obviously how Brown competes against Miami. But I'm gonna go with Miami. I just think that home cooking will help out a lot. That atmosphere is going to be rocking. And for this might be the biggest game on CW network history. You know what I mean? So, I didn't know CW was getting games like this, but shout out to the CW, you know what I mean? For them getting these games. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Miami. I think they win. And I won't be surprised if it's a close game at the end.
Yeah, for sure. Then you have Arkansas. They're traveling to Ole Miss. to face the Rebels. The Simmons kid, uh, he had a he was in a shootout last week. They end up pulling it out at the end. I'm not too familiar with Arkansas, but I do know that they have some talent carried over from last year. I know the quarterback's supposed to be really good. Um, we're gonna see, you know what I'm saying, with Arkansas, but I'm gonna roll with Ole Miss because I'm just gonna go with familiarity. So I'll roll with Ole Miss, but Arkansas can show me something.
Nah, man, I think I was impressed by the way Ole Miss handled the situation with Kentucky. It kind of looked kind of sketchy there for a little bit, but I think they were able to respond back well. I think Arkansas has played pretty decent. You know, they're 2-0 heading into this game. Um, this could be a situation where you could potentially see an upset. You know what I mean? Ole Miss
Mhm.
tends to have games like that, especially coming off a big game against Kentucky. But I'm gonna go. This is kind of the same situation where I'm gonna go with the home cooking, like kind of like the Wisconsin Alabama game I stated. I think Ole Miss will respond well at home, and I think they got that confidence coming off that tough game against Kentucky. So I'm gonna roll with Ole Miss.
Yeah, for sure. Then you have your Gators traveling to Death Valley to face LSU. You guys are coming off of a bad loss to South Florida. Um,
Yeah.
Now you guys can redeem yourself if DJ Legway goes into Death Valley and just has a monster game and shows why he's one of the more highly talented quarterbacks in college football. But Garrett Nussmeier, he's trying to solidify himself as a number one overall pick next year, so he's going to be motivated himself. You got Harold Perkins, the linebacker over there on LSU. You got Varnell Brown, the wide receiver, who's pretty good. So it's gonna be an interesting matchup. But just because it's in Death Valley, brother, I gotta go with LSU.
I'm not mad at it. This game is going to really tell me a lot about how much heart this team has and how much controllability Napier has, because it's kind of the same situation as last year where we either play down to our opponent or we play up to our opponent. Hopefully it's that same situation and we play up to our opponents. And if that's the case, you know, I expect DJ Lagway to give me a Heisman style performance, and it's going to have to be that way for us to be able to win this game going into Death Valley. Um, Billy Napier is a really a frustrating coach. He really is, and I'm still curious to understand why he even still has his job. But I'm gonna go with the belief that we play up to our competition, and I think we'll go in. I know it's gonna be tough. I'm not mad at anybody who says LSU is gonna win this game. I told you, Chris, earlier today. I think we either win or we get blown out. I don't think it's one of the two. So. I'm gonna go Florida. I think we win this game. I think DJ Lagway wins this, goes and shows off who we can truly be, and we surprise LSU and we get the dub. And then we start this long track, man. Tough schedule: LSU, Miami, Texas A&M. These are our next 4 games. So this is the start of our the most brutal football schedule I've ever seen in my life, and hopefully we can come out on top. So
Then you have Texas A&M traveling to Notre Dame. Uh, they're both ranked teams, 16-8. Um, Texas A&M, they got that Marcel Reed kid, the quarterback. He's got 7 touchdowns, 509 yards, and then he's got 105 with 18 carries and a touchdown already on the season. So he's a dual threat. The CJ Carr kid, he looked pretty solid in his first outing, even though they lost. They played Miami, right?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
them going to Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, they had they lost by 3, so it wasn't like they got blown out or anything. I would like them to see if they're gonna incorporate Jeremiah Love more into this game because he really didn't get going in the first game that they played.
Mm-hmm.
They had the other kid Price. He got more of the carries, but uh, I don't know, man. I think that because I know it's tough to play out there in South Bend, but I'm gonna go with Texas A&M, man. I'm gonna roll with Texas A&M. I think the Marcel Reed kid is gonna pull it through. I think the CJ Carr kid is still figuring things out. So I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna go with Texas A&M, and I do like Texas A&M defense too.
I'm gonna go with Notre Dame, man. I know it's kind of interesting that Notre Dame is the only winless team in the top 10. We get it; they only play one game, but I just think Miami was really that good. That game was
Mhm.
really a great contested game. Notre Dame showed some flashes of some really good stuff. Obviously, I would have liked to see Jeremiah Love get more production, but I did like seeing what I did from Carr. He made some elite throws there. I think the Notre Dame will be highly motivated. I think this defense will play a lot better going up against Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M. I think it will be a tough game. Texas A&M and Notre Dame. The game last year was one of the games I think that helped Notre Dame push into that that national championship conversation when they went on the road to Texas A&M. I know Texas A&M is going to try to get their get back, but I think Notre Dame just matches up well against Texas A&M. I think Jeremiah Lev has a big game. I think Carr kind of shows out a little bit, and I think that defense plays well. I think they have too much talent on that defensive side to lose this game, and it's a lot of pressure. They can't lose this game, or they're going to be kind of out of the playoff picture for the foreseeable future. So.
Yeah. And then you got Vanderbilt, 2-0 Vanderbilt going to South Carolina to face Lenore Sellers and Nick Harbor. Um, David Pavia, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? Diego, my bad. Pavia. Uh, he had a pretty good season last year. Vanderbilt, they upset somebody last year, didn't they?
Bama, they beat
Bama.
Bama.
Yeah, so Vanderbilt they've been getting a lot of talent, since the NIL stuff has been up. So they've been getting some guys over there. This quarterback Diego Pavea is pretty good. But I'm a roll with Lenore Sellers, man. I just think that he's too talented. Nick Harbor, I think he'll have a couple of touchdowns. Dylan Stewart, the linebacker,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be a terror and rush the passer. And I think this South Carolina defense is going to make some stops. And I wouldn't be surprised if they handle them pretty handily and win this game.
Yeah. Um, I like this South Carolina team. They do tend to have lapses at times.
Hmm.
That's what they've been really known for. But Lenore Sellers, he's been great. I'm gonna be curious though. I think Vanderbilt could be a tough team. I could think they could be scrappy. We saw they can have a little bit of magic on their side. It's gonna take a lot of magic, especially going into South Carolina. But I'm gonna still take South Carolina. I think it's a close game, but I think they edge them out and win by 3.
And then you got UNLV traveling to Miami, Ohio. They just coming off a big win over for UCLA. Um, Alex Calandra, he had a really good game. Jaden Thomas, he had a pretty good game himself. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see how they continue to grow as an offense. I think the offense is kind of hitting their stride already with Alex Calandra as their starting quarterback. I know Alex Orji, he's out for the season. I think he tore his ACL or something like that. So they got the other kid Farrell as their backup quarterback now. And this defense, it seems like this team is going to be more of an opportunist type of defense, bend don't break opportunist defense. So, and that's fine. If they can get some takeaways here and there, and then they, get the ball to Alex Calandra in that offense, then they have a very good chance of winning. Any game that they play this year. I'm definitely gonna roll with UNLV. I just think they're rolling right now. I think Alex Calandra is a baller, and I just think that he's gonna put this team on him and Jaden Thomas is gonna put this team on their back and win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think UNLV has shown that they are the best team in this conference. I don't see that changing at all. Again, I hope they give Jaden Thomas more touches so we can
Hmm.
see who he truly is. I agree with you. He can be the Genty of the Mountain West, being the best running back.
Oh shoot.
And I don't even think it's close, especially with his talent. But we'll see. Obviously, they're still trying to come together, learn this team, build something, and it's looking pretty good. So I expect a dominant performance. And if it's not that, then a lot of people are gonna be questioning UNLV again. So
And that pretty much does it for our college slate. I don't think there's really any other big games out there. I'm trying to look.
mm, um, big State games.
Yeah, I don't really see anything else that's warranting. Uh, yeah, because Mizzou's playing Louisiana. The I think it's the Raging Cajun, so they ain't playing nobody.
Yeah, honestly, I really don't see another game. Obviously, everybody's going to pay attention to see how Arch Manning looks, especially with the shoulder.
Of
You know what I
course,
mean? We
yeah,
all know that. Yeah, nah.
yeah. I don't
Yeah,
see
I can't
anything.
see that Oregon Northwestern game being anything. I think Oregon will dominate that. I think Michigan will have a bounce back game.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, yeah, that's about it. Maybe the Arizona Kansas State game might be pretty interesting.
Maybe. All right, man. So a couple of days ago, and I was in the spaces a couple of days ago too, and they was talking about generational talent versus generational players,
Mm.
and the difference between the two. I'm gonna play this clip, and Ryan Clark had brought this up on First Take, so I want to play this clip for you, and then we could talk about it.
Okay.
Few of them. I don't think there's. I think there's less than what you think. I think John Elway was a generational talent. I think Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. I don't think Tom Brady, I don't think Drew Brees, I don't think Peyton Manning are generational talents. I think Andrew Luck ended up being a generational talent. I don't think there's a ton of them out there.
But so then what? Then how does one, in your eyes, be a generational talent? Because there's not a lot of difference.
Production. Let me chime in here because I love the argument back and forth between y'all. I ain't trying to get in the way of it.
got it.
Here's the reality. The operative word here is. Do you believe Arch Manning is a generational talent? He could be, but he's not.
Why not?
Yet. What have you seen to say that he is?
There's no evidence.
So this discussion of the difference between generational talent and generational player has been coming up a lot of places. Um, like he said, John Elway's, the Andrew Lucks, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I would put Josh Allen in that. Whereas in Tom Brady, he wasn't highly touted coming out of college. He had to build his stuff up. A lot of film study, a lot of stuff he had to build up. I would say Peyton Manning was considered because of his mind. I would say he was a generational
He was
talent
a generational talent
because
was a generational
he
talent.
changed the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
To me, I think he made it more cerebral, and then I think Tom Brady adopted that and became a more cerebral quarterback himself, adding on to the clutch gene. Um, how do you feel about that? Do you think there's a difference? Do you think that if you're a generational talent, that means you're a generational player, or do you think you can grow from a generational talent to be a generational player?
I think a generational talent is kind of more of like what you see on the screen. Like you kind of see it with like the likes of like a LeBron James. You kind of saw it with the Cam Newton. You kind of saw it with Adrian Peterson. Like you kind of see flashes of just dominance within a high school realm, a college realm, to the point where it's just like, okay, you see something there. The guy's ultra talented. He seems like he's just different from any other player that is on that field, like kind of a man amongst boys type of situation. A generational player to me is somebody that career-wise has turned into something that has been special, like a Mahomes. I know you kind of said Patrick Mahomes is generational. I didn't think he came out touted as a generational player. I think
Yeah.
he had some skill where it's some flashes where it was like there's something there, but he was kind of touted as somebody who was kind of reckless with the ball. Like he had the arm strength, but no one kind of touted him like he's gonna be like this, like super, like this generational talent that he ended up growing into be a generational talent in the NFL. We didn't
Mhm.
see it in college, but he ended up turning into a generational talent that switched into a generational player. Ended up being both. Tom Brady just became a generational quarterback because he was able to be this quarterback that was one of the last picks in the draft, and he ended up being one of the most dominant quarterbacks in the NFL history who turned out to be the GOAT. You know what I mean? So I just think it's just a difference from on-screen talent to what you see on the field to just production levels and winning and winning championships that turn you into a generational player. And I agree with every sentiment that Ryan Clark said. I kind of I remember seeing that clip where I think people were kind of questioning him, saying that Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. I get the Drew Brees. I agree with you. I think Peyton Manning was touted to be like a generational style quarterback. I just think he was just always being like that. I think Arch Manning, in his sense, is like, I think people kind of jumped the gun on that, like, because we haven't really seen that, like, especially with some of the high school talent that he had to play against and all that type of stuff. And we just saw a little flashes here and there. Like, I guess athletically he could be generational in a sense, but arm wise, we haven't seen that yet. I think we're still trying to understand if he can be that. I think he still has the opportunity to be that, or he can just end up being something that he turns into, like kind of like a Patrick Mahomes. Like he shows flashes here and there, but once he gets into the league, and we all know play changes a lot in the league compared to college football. Maybe he's just more fitted to be a professional football player compared to a college football player, even though you would kind of hope that he would still produce in a way that people kind of expect, even though there is a lot of pressure on him. I just think he still has that opportunity. But like a Lenore Sellers, he looks generational talent wise. You know what I mean? Like a guy like that, like a Caleb Downs looks generational talent wise. Like Jeremiah Smith, like we see these guys that just look generational talent wise. Ashton Jency, he looked generational. Now will he talent? Now will he be a generational player? It's going to be up to what happens on that field. You know what I mean? It's a healthy balance in that. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory to me, between generational talent and generational player.
Yeah, I agree. You take somebody like Caleb Williams, and he's been the big discussion these past few days with his play. In that first half, you saw generational talent, maybe even a generational player, and then all of a sudden things changed. He didn't adjust. He started going to the backyard football, and you learn that in the NFL you can't do that. You can do that in Oklahoma. You can do that at USC a little bit if you got the talent around you. But you can't do that in the NFL where all these dudes run 4.3s, 4.2s. Even the dude that's on the practice squad was the best player on this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the 1% of the 1%. So I agree with you with the Patrick Mahomes. Nobody was talking about Patrick Mahomes as a generational talent until he got with Andy Reid, and Andy Reid helped mold him and get that out of him. Now, if you go back and see it like his senior year, you'll look at his numbers and be like, because they said he was reckless with the ball, but it was just like, I don't know if he's too reckless because he had interceptions like they claim he did. He didn't turn the ball over like that. So it's like, he was actually pretty safe with the ball. He used to do the off-platform stuff. And I think a lot of that with Patrick Mahomes was just like he had the worst defense in the nation. So he was just like, I got to make something happen to win this game. Whereas in like Andrew Luck, like, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and I've always been the minority with Andrew Luck. I watched him at Stanford. I know he's got the measurables, but I never looked at Andrew Luck like, oh, this is the next John Elway. I don't know. I never saw that. Like, I think he was a really good player, and I get it because he had the 6'4", 240 pounds. He could run a little bit. He's got an arm and all that stuff. And even with the Colts, he was a really good player. But even in clutch situations, I always thought Andrew Luck kind of came up small. Like, that was just me. Like, I never looked at him like, oh, he's just generational, can't miss. Take somebody like Trevor Lawrence. Everybody said he was generational. Now you see how he looks in the league. There's big discussions of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a generational talent. He's got Sean Watson. But I think at one point he was a generational player until situations happened.
All that changed.
And it went downhill. You know what I'm saying? RG3 was a generational talent. It just didn't come to fruition because of injuries, but he was a generational talent. He was, even at Baylor. You saw it. Joe Burrows, he might not be a generational talent, but I think he can be a generational player. I do think that because he's unlike all his contemporaries, like the Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens, he's the least athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can scramble a little bit, but he's not them. Like, if you look up and saw Joe Burrows had like 50 yards, you'd be like, damn, what's going on over there? What's up with that defensive line? So But I think he has that Tom Brady, Drew Brees in him to where he knows how to throw the football. He's very accurate with the ball. He knows how to dissect the play, and he has that clutch gene in him when it comes down to it. And I think that takes to be generational, winning. Take somebody like Jalen Hurts. We talk about Jalen Hurts all the time. Yes, he may not have the strongest of arm, or he could run like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but he knows how to make the right plays when it needs to be, and he knows how to win. And I think that's something that you got to put as an attribute as somebody who knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? We argue with Lamar Jackson. We know he's generational player, and he's a 2-time MVP, probably should be a 3-time MVP. But we see that he's generational. It's just, can you be clutch in those big moments?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
like, I think you got to have, especially in basketball, like, you got to have some kind of generational talent to be a generational player.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It just can't be like, like an Austin Reeves. Like, Austin Reeves came out of nowhere. He's not a generational talent, but I don't think he's a generational player either. No. He's just a great really player. You know what I mean? Like LeBron James, he's a generational talent who ended up becoming a generational player just because of what he was able to accomplish. Kobe Bryant, he was the same way. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, you had the likes of like a Michael Beasley and Lamar Odom, who were generational talent-wise, but they just never end up being a generational player. You know what I mean? Like, they had those kind of aspects to them. And it's kind of like Reggie Bush. Like, I think Reggie Bush was a generational talent. I just don't think he was a generational player. In college, he was a generational player. But in the NFL, like, it's tales to two stories, you know what I mean? In a sense, I know a lot of people like to hang their hat a lot more on the professional side than the collegiate side. Like, we all know how dominant, like a Tim Tebow, like, he's probably considered one of the greatest college football players of all time. And I don't think anybody can argue that. But when it comes to football, it's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? Kind of like the same. He couldn't throw the football, but he was able to do it in college, and it just worked. You know what I mean? So it's just different layers to that. I know a lot of people hold higher standards to the professional league. They always put that above anything college-wise just because it's professional and it's the best of the best. But you know what? Like, at the end of the day, it sucks that, we see some of these generational talent players and they don't come to fruition. I think those are some of the careers that kind of suck, because you would love to see some of these guys being able to become generational talent and see them succeed on the professional level. Obviously some cases it comes to what happens off the field, off the court, or maybe with mental hurdles, trying to get over certain situations. It could be the coaching that maybe just doesn't agree to what your talents are to help you flourish. Or you could just be in bad situations. We see a lot of generational talent just put in bad organizations that just don't help them flourish. So it's a great conversation to have. You know what I mean? It'll be a good kind of conversation to see who's generational in today's sports and who's able to be that generational player. They could take their talents to lights that we have not seen before. You know what I mean? We got the likes of Victor Wembanyama in football. We got a lot of young cats coming in these leagues, especially in these coming drafts coming up, that are generational talent wise, but can they fulfill their levels and become generational players? Like Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase was generational. Justin Jefferson, generational. Derrick Henry, he was a generational talent who's ended up being a generational player. So we see it all the time. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's do our NFL top 10 ranking power rankings.
Let's do it. You want me to go first, you?
Hold on. I got a new thing.
This is Cris Style Mal's NFL top 10 power rankings.
Oh, my bad. I didn't even know we had a little cut like that. You know what I mean? You got my man who be doing the narrations and shit. I guess I'll start first since I'm already talking. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
I got some honorable mentions. I'm gonna go from 10 to 1. I got some honorable mentions though. I got the Bengals, Raiders, and Colts. I was obviously the Bengals didn't really, look too good, but obviously they did get the win. I thought my Raiders and the Colts looked very impressive with that. So those are just some honorable mentions. Number 10, I got the San Francisco 49ers. I know they had their hiccups and stuff like that, but I really I really love what I saw on that defensive side of the football. I think the addition of Robert Saleh is a huge addition to them. I think it'll keep them in a lot of games. I know the offense didn't really look really true productive, but they did have some flashes. I think Christian McCaffrey looked good. I love what Ricky Purcell did. They're eventually going to get Kittle back and Brandon Ayuk. I think that team would look a lot more positive. If this defense can stay healthy, obviously they were scared with Fred Warner, but I think he'll be okay. If that defense can just stay where it's at, I think the 49ers can surprise some people. I'm not the biggest Brock Purdy fan. I know he's not going to play this week. It's already off to a rough start with injuries, but the 49ers can still be productive, and we all know what they could be. They could be a tough team. Number 9, I got your Chiefs, man. I wasn't really impressed with what I saw from them. I think they're still a top 10 team. I still think they could be very dangerous, but I think they have a lot of injuries. I think they still have some questions on the defensive side, running game. We all know how much you love Juwan Taylor. The injuries with Xavier Worthy, suspension of Rasheed Rice. I think they still have a lot of questions, but I think they can bounce back, but I just have them at 9 for right now. Number 8, I got the Rams. Again, offensively, didn't look too impressive, but that defense did look good. We do expect that offense to be better. It's always scary with Matthew Stafford and his injury, especially with the back, but you still got Puka, you still got Kyron Williams, you got the addition of Devontae Adams. I think the Rams can respond. I think they could be better. Again, Matthew Stafford barely even participated in training camp, so they still got to get their rhythm. Number 7, I got the Bucks, man. I think the Bucks look really impressive. It was a tough divisional game against the Falcons. Baker Mayfield, he truly impresses. Emeka Egbuka made 2 huge TDs. Obviously, he had the game-winning TD. Still got Bucky Irvin. That defense could be promising. I like the Bucks at 7. Chargers at number 6. I thought they probably had one of the more impressive wins against the Chiefs in Brazil, especially the conditions with that field and all that. That defense looked really good. That defensive line looked really good. Justin Herbert probably played some of the best football I've seen him play in a long time. Obviously, Omarion Hampton, I love you, my brother. I think you're talented, but you gotta be better up here, brother. You gotta be able to see your holes better. You gotta be able to do stuff better. And Quentin Johnston, hey, salute my boy. He looked really good. And then Keenan Allen going Keenan Allen, bro. He's always gonna be productive as long as he can stay healthy. But again, that's healthy. Number 5, I got the Commanders. I thought the Commanders, they weren't as dominant on offensively, but I thought they were impressive. I get it was against the New York Giants. Russell Wilson, that offense looked putrid. That offensive line looked terrible. That defensive line, we expected a little bit more from that defensive line, especially from the Giants. But I thought the Commanders looked really good. I expect them to get better. They got a huge matchup against the Green Bay Packers tomorrow. I'm excited to see that. But I do expect Jaden Daniels and all them, Terry McLaurin, get their rhythm back, and I think they're going to explosive. Crosscat Moret, that boy's going to be the truth. There's already reports that he's eventually going to be the main back, and Austin Eckler will be second. Number 4, I got the Ravens. Even with the loss, I thought they looked really good. I just think that defense and just some mental errors and stuff like that. That coaching staff always trying to play not to lose and not to win. That's been a frustrating thing. But Lamar looked great. Derrick Henry still looks like Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers looked amazing. Obviously, you would love to see Mark Andrews, maybe Isaiah likely get a little bit more love, Rashad Bateman and stuff like that. That defense was a little bit disappointing, especially at the end of the game, but I do expect them to get a lot better. Jair Alexander, expect him to kind of be better than what he kind of did show the last couple games, that last game against the Bills, but I got the Ravens at 4. Number 3, I got the Bills. Me and you kind of talked about it. I'm not impressed with the Bills. I'm impressed with Josh Allen. I'm not impressed with the Bills as a team. I'm not impressed with that defense, but I was kind of going back and forth. I still kind of want to I think the Ravens are a better team than the Bills, but I'm not going to disrespect the Bills because they did beat them the last 2 times, once in the playoffs and on last Sunday, even though I do think it was a lot of luck and Josh Allen, even on Josh Allen's side, but I'll put the Bills at 3, but I'm not impressed with that team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they lose against the Jets. I'm not saying it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Number 2, I got the Packers, man. The Packers look really impressive. That offense still leaves something to be desired for me personally. That receiving core still leaves a little bit to be desired for me personally. But that defensive line with Rashawn Gary and Michael Parsons, we know once Michael Parsons gets his win back, gets healthy, that's going to be filthy. The back end of that defense, I still got to see it, though. It's going to say a lot to me what they look like against the Commanders tomorrow night, but I do like that team. They look like the second best team, potentially even the best team. And then number 1, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I get it; they had a little rough start, but I think a lot of that with Jalen Carter and that whole incident, him getting kicked out before they were even able to play. I think that kind of messed up the whole mentality of that team and the rhythm of that defense. But for as poorly as they played, Saquon Barkley didn't do anything pretty much. A.J. Brown didn't do anything. Devontae Smith didn't do anything, and that defense was kind of inconsistent, especially early on. They still won the game. And I think that was the best the Dallas Cowboys will look all season. But I think the Eagles they're a dominant team, man. They're filthy rich, man. They're only going to get better. So, and then they added Tank Bigsby, which I don't know why, but they added Tank Bigsby, and so they got more depth on the running game. So that's my top 10.
For sure. So my honorable mentions is the Jags, the Raiders, your Raiders, Vikings, and Jets. Your Raiders, I was looking at them at 10. I was gonna put them there, but I just gotta see y'all against the Chargers.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. And I'm a Raider fan, so I'm the same way.
I gotta see y'all against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Jags, it wasn't pretty, and I know they played the Panthers, but I gotta show them a little bit of love. They did win the game. Vikings, I know JJ McCarthy looked terrible for 3 quarters, but that defense and Brian Flores, man, that dude is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL right now, and he's going to keep them in a lot of games. He just is. Like JJ McCarthy, if he can continue to just go up, then Vikings could be right there. So, and then I was impressed with the Jets offense. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting this from Justin Fields, and if Justin Fields can play like this with Breece Hall playing like he's been, like he looks like old Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson just continues to Garrett Wilson, I expect this defense to get better. They're learning a new scheme. You know, they're not doing the Robert Saleh stuff, so they're learning a new scheme. I expect this. They got too much talent on this defense not to be Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner and all them. They got too much. They got too much talent over there. So I expect the defense to be a lot better. All right, number 10. I gotta roll with old man Aaron and the Steelers. They impressed me. I was not expecting this offense to look like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be real with you. My man had 4 touchdowns. I gotta show him some love, man. That could be, it could change this weekend, and they're gonna go back to looking like what we thought they were. But for right now, I got them at number 10. Number 9, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. I know they was playing a division rival, and those division games are gonna be close. But if Young Hoku makes the field goal, we might be talking about a different thing. You know what I'm saying? The Buccaneers might have lost that game. So, but they didn't. They won. They won, like, and it is what it is. So I'm gonna give them some props. Number 8, I put the Chiefs. Yeah, Xavier Worthy got hurt. I felt like they sucked the wind out of the offense in the first quarter. And then Patrick Mahomes had to do Patrick Mahomes things and try to put the team on his back, and he almost did. Chris Jones doesn't break containment. We might be talking about a win. But they lost. But I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll be fine. They're going to be getting some pieces back too. So, Commanders, like you said, it was rough. It was a little rough outing with the Commanders, but it was a division rivalry, and you know how those division games go, man. There's just always some funky stuff going on with those division games. I expect Jaden Daniels and that offense to pick it up. I do like what I saw with Deebo Samuels. He looks like the old Deebo Samuels that first came to the 49ers. So if they can incorporate him and Terry gets his legs back under him, and that, like you said, the Musgrave kid, you know what I'm saying, continues to go up. This defense looks a little bit better, you know what I'm saying, on that defensive line. Them linebackers are already good. My only worry about the Commanders is their corners. I know Marshawn Lattimore is over there, but he's a little long in the tooth. And then the other guy, he's kind of you know what I'm saying, he's a little up and down. But, you know, I still like the Commanders. I'm going to put them at number 7. Or number 8. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 8. So they're number 7. Number 6, I got the Colts. I got to show love to the Colts. Even though it was the Dolphins, I got to show them love. Danny Dimes, he was as good as you can hope for. That defense with Lou Amiron calling the plays, that defense is gonna be good, man. They're gonna be really good. So you gotta watch out for the Colts, man. So I'm gonna show them a love at 6. At 5, I got the Baltimore Ravens. They should have won the game. They were dominant for most of that game, and then it just all fell apart in 2 plays. It fell apart in 2 plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, or 2 drives, should I say? It fell apart, and that's how the margin of winning and losing in this league is. You can dominate a whole game, but if you make a mistake on 2 plays, it can be the difference between you winning and losing. And that's what happened with the Baltimore Ravens. And they got to fix this thing of closing out these games, man. Number 4, I'm with you. I got the Buffalo Bills. But like I text you when that game was going on, they can't survive off of Josh Allen and go make something happen offense. That's not going to fly. They're going to have to fix that. They're going to have to get back to the offense that they was running last year when they were running the football with James Cook, play action pass, and some RPO type stuff with Josh Allen being able to read and react. But when you can make him throw 35, 40 times, he is prone to throw at least two interceptions and maybe even fumble the football. So you gotta try to scale him back. You gotta reel him in because he gets a little happy feet and get to going crazy, and he'll do something crazy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Number 3, I got the Chargers. I got to give Chargers love, man. They had an excellent game plan against my Chiefs. I think the Chiefs were expecting Jim Harbaugh to do Jim Harbaugh things. And what's that? Run the football and play defense. You know what the Chargers did all game? Throw. And I think that caught Spags off guard. I thought Spags wasn't ready for it. I don't think he game planned for that. And shout out to Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman for throwing something at them that they weren't ready for. And it looked like that. They looked lost out there because I think they was expecting a heavy dose of Amarion Hampton and your boy Najee Harris, and it didn't happen. And they were just from the jump, they was just throwing the football. There was times where it was 3rd and 2, and they was throwing the ball. So shout out to the Chargers. Number 2, I got the Eagles. Yes, I get it. Jalen Carter wasn't in the game. I get it, and that does affect their defensive line. But I do have some questions about their number 2 corner. Adoree Jackson was getting smoked out there. And it wasn't, and that's what the Cowboys did. They put CeeDee Lamb and moved him around and moved him over there. They kept him away from Quinton Mitchell, and they was putting him on Adoree Jackson. And then when they brought in the other kid that came from the Raiders, they was putting him on him too. So, and he's still learning the defense. So they kept him away from Cooper DeJean and, Quinton Mitchell, and they put it on that number 2 corner. So that's something that's going to be something to look at because they're going to have to put Adoree Jackson back out there. And teams are going to continue to attack. And that's going to open other things up. So, well, it'll be interesting to see, how it looks when Jalen Carter gets back. He's back this week, so maybe he affects and helps those corners out. Not covering as long, but teams are going to scheme that up. And I got to give love to the Packers at number 1 right now because they just were dominant. I get it. Lions, they look lost out there. They got 2 new coordinators. But at the end of the day, we didn't expect them to get beat down like that. And they caught the beats. Like Lions look like a shell of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, and the Packers just did whatever. And Jordan Love and them didn't have to do too much because it was just they were just that dominant against them. And Jared Goff, that offensive line, that interior offensive line, that's something that had to be looked at. So, and they just got pressure on them. Rashawn Gary, they didn't really need Michael Parsons out there because Rashawn Gary took over. So, and Wyatt, the other kid in the middle. So, I think the Packers deserve to be number 1 this week. Could change by tomorrow when they face the Commanders, but right now those are mine. So Packers, Eagles, Chargers, Buffalo, Baltimore, Colts, Commanders, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Steelers.
I'm at it.
All right, man. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be back.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
All right, man, let's talk about it, man. Big fight this week, man. Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is going down Saturday at Allegiant Stadium at it's gonna be like around 8:30. That's when the main event starts. The fights start at 6 with a preliminary start at 4, but the actual card starts at 6. You know, the card is kind of weak. You know, the undercard is weak, so we ain't gonna really get into that. But we're just gonna talk about this. Just give me your overall feel, what you think keys to this fight. You know, how you looking at this fight. I know they've been talking about, you know, he has the shoulder injury, and people are kind of looking at that like, oh, he's gonna lose because of that. But Crawford debunked the shoulder injury. People are saying, some people are saying he's lying, he's just covering it up. But I don't expect Bud Crawford to be somebody to just be like, I'm gonna cover it up, whatever. So how are you feeling overall? What do you feel the keys to this fight is? And you know, then we could pick our winner.
Overall, man, I think especially with all the rumors, like at the end of the day, I think Bud would not put himself in this situation. This is like the biggest fight of his career. That could take him to levels of, I think, Mayweather status if he's able to put this off, where he will definitely be, because I think he's one of the greats anyway. But you know, if he's able to win this, like, I think we got to start talking about him maybe potentially being the greatest of all time in a sense. But I think he could probably be in that conversation. Not saying he'll win the conversation, but I think you could probably put him in that conversation. But as far as the keys, though, I think one of the things is with Bud and Canelo is, we all know Bud is going to take his time the first couple rounds to try to understand what Canelo is going to bring, understand his power, understand his speed, understand what he could bring to the table, and then he'll adapt. Obviously, with Bud being able to switch from, you know, southpaw to, you know, to an orthodox style, like, I think that would be kind of interesting to see how Canelo Alvarez responds to that. If he able to handle that switch up, because we all know it's going to come with Crawford. Obviously with Crawford is can he handle the Canelo Alvarez power? I think at the end of the day, I know there's been a lot of conversation with Canelo's supposed to be the bigger fighter. When you kind of clearly see them standing next to each other, that Terrence Crawford seems like he's the bigger fighter. He has the longer reach. I think he's I think his body is in a better state than Canelo's. I think some of the fights that Canelo's been in a lot of tough fights, you know, from the Triple G's to the Dimitri Bivens and, you know, the Miguel Cotto fights, the Mayweathers and stuff like that. He's been in a lot of professional fights, and me and you have agreed that Canelo has slowed down a lot. So I think this will be his toughest opponent since Dimitri Bivol. And we all saw, and obviously Dimitri Bivol is obviously a bigger human being than Terrence Crawford. But I think Terrence Crawford is going to have a lot of advantages that people assume that Canelo will have, just by, you know, head speed, movement, and stuff like that. I think Canelo is a stationary target. I think it could be easy pickings for Crawford, but I think it's all going to be about how he can handle Canelo's power, because Canelo will connect with Crawford. That will happen. And how he responds to that will say a lot. How Canelo responds to Crawford's jab will say a lot. And if once Crawford gets hit on that chin, and I see Crawford continue to move forward, it's going to be big problems for Canelo Alvarez. Now, if it's a situation where Crawford gets hit, he gets a little stunned, and we see him moving around and start dancing a little bit more, then okay, we can have a conversation that Canelo might have him on the ropes. But, you know, we're going to see that. And I think that will kind of dictate the fight and how both players kind of respond to kind of the different aspects that both of these fighters can bring. So I think it'll be an exciting fight. I think it'll start off slow, but I think action will pick up around maybe in the second, beginning the third, maybe the fourth round. Action will start happening, and then we'll figure out who's going to be the winner.
Yeah. just like you said, I'm excited for this fight. It's a big fight. Um, I do expect Canelo Alvarez to try to come out first and try to put pressure on, but I do
I
think
can see
that
that.
I
Yeah.
think that he's gonna try to get him out of there early because the bad thing for Canelo is he's not looked good condition wise in later rounds, and if you
Mm-mm.
get him in deep waters, I think that that plays more to Bud Crawford. If you can get him to sixth, seventh round, that's when I think Bud Crawford's gonna start really applying pressure on Canelo because like we've seen in these past few fights, even against guys that he should have got out of there, you could just tell he's tired. He's not his conditioning is not what it was when he was in his 20s and whatever, when he was in his prime to say. So I think Crawford is gonna go to the body a lot because I think what a lot of fighters go wrong with Canelo is they try to knock him out.
Yeah.
You're not gonna knock Canelo out. His superpower is his chin. He has the best chins in boxing. Period. You know what I'm saying? So you're not knocking. If Triple G couldn't knock him out, you're not knocking him out. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think if he faced Benavidez, I don't think Benavidez would knock him out. I think he might have hurt him, but I don't think he'd knock him out. So I just think his chin is just too good. So I think that and I think Bud knows that. He knows that I'm not gonna knock this dude out. Now he might try if he gets him into the later rounds. He might try to start. Now, especially if those punches are starting to affect Canelo in a way to where you can tell it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like if he hits Canelo and Canelo's kind of walking through those punches, then the strategy is just gonna be I'm gonna just win by decision. I'm gonna bring him out to deep waters because I know that Canelo was a whole different type of fighter when he at the time when he faced Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd wasn't hurting him, but he was just outboxing him. His ring IQ was just too much for Canelo Alvarez, and I think that's what Bud Crawford is going to do. I think he's going to use ring IQ. I think he's going to fight a smart fight, but still apply pressure and get him in deep waters, sixth, seventh, eighth round, and then that's when I think you see Bud Crawford like really pick it up, like intensify, throwing more combinations, maybe going to the head a little bit more at that time, and just, maybe try to get him about there. But at the end of the day, I do think that Bud Crawford is going to try to get to the later rounds, and that's when he's going to do most of his damage. So.
I agree.
And we've already spoke about it in past podcasts that we're picking Crawford to win this fight. You know what I'm saying? We just, me and you have never been big Canelo Alvarez fans, and we make no bones about saying that. Like, I remember Canelo coming up, and I always thought he was a good fighter. I just never thought he was just like generational talent that everybody makes him seem to be. It's just he's adapted a lot since the Floyd Mayweather fight, and I give him that. But I've always, before that, it was just like there's nothing to him. It's just he knows how to box. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have, but he has developed. He does good body work. He's a good counter puncher. He has good head movement. That's one thing that Canelo does have is good head movement. And he has power. He can knock you out. So I think Crawford's going to be mindful of that. But I got Crawford winning by decision. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I got Crawford winning by decision.
Yeah, and I'm agree with you. I think Crawford wins. Again, I think this fight is really easy to dictate who's going to win. It just depends on how each other responds to what they bring to the table. If Crawford responds well to the power of Canelo and he walks him down, Crawford's going to win, and he'll win by decision. I'm not saying he's going to knock him out, but again, Crawford has surprised a lot of people before, so we'll see. If Canelo's able to handle, I guess, the southpaw of Crawford, if he's able to handle the jab, if he's able to connect with the power and have Crawford be able to feel him, I think then Canelo will be the favorite to win the fight. You know what I mean? I think it will be a situation where, obviously, I agree with you. I think the later the rounds go, I think it goes more toward Crawford, unless Canelo really hurts Crawford. But I think if I think Canelo hurts Crawford, I think he knocks out Crawford. You know what I mean? I think it's a situation like that. And I think Crawford has a great chin. We've seen him get hurt once, maybe twice, but Crawford overall has a great chin. I think he's prepared for that. But again, I think this is going to go the distance. I think this is going to be an exciting fight. Again, I personally think it's going to start off slow. I wouldn't be surprised if I think Canelo will kind of try to, engage early in the rounds, because I think he even knows that the state of his body currently today. I think he's better in the earlier rounds, and it's going to be a lot tougher for him, especially with this style of fighter, because this guy isn't. Crawford will stand there, but he's not going to stand there to take the punishment. It's going to be all calculated stuff that Crawford does. So I got to go in the distance. I got Crawford winning. I got him winning, at least by 2, maybe 3 rounds.
Yeah, something like 113. One.
I can see like a 114, 111 or something like that. Something like that. Maybe somebody will do like I could see one judge give a draw. I could see some situation like that. I don't think it'll be an undisputed decision.
No, probably split. All right, man. Let's do our BetUs Surefire picks.
Let's do it.
All right, man. What you got?
So I got the Commanders +3 against the Packers. I just like that. I like that spread. I think the Commanders, I know on the road is going to be tough, especially short week, but for some reason, I just like the Commanders in this spot. I just think that offense will look good. I think the initial reaction of Michael Parsons being on the team, you felt that energy, but I think the Commanders are just a better overall team than the Detroit Lions right now. They understand who they are, and I think the Detroit Lions are still trying to figure themselves out. Next up, I got the Jags +3.5 against the Bengals. I don't know. Like, again, I get it. Trevor Lawrence, they could be a little iffy, but Etienne looked amazing. We expect Brian Thomas Jr. to produce, and then you still got Travis Hunter right there. I get it. The Bengals didn't have the best offensive game, and that Jaguars defense could get got, but again, Bengals were not impressive. That defense, it played good, but I don't expect them to play like that all the time. It is Joe Flacco. So I got the Jags +3.5. I got the Colts +1 over the Broncos. I just think the Colts are a better team offensively. I think defensive wise, I think these both of these teams could be on the similar level. But I just think I'm gonna edge the Colts on the offensive side. So I think they'll win. And then I got Georgia Tech +3. I already stated before. I think if King is playing, I think you take this bet, and I think Georgia Tech +3. I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers -3 over the Commanders. I just think they're at home. They're riding high. I think that that defensive line is gonna get after it. I think there's gonna be a close game, but I got the Packers -3. I'm taking the Rams -6 over the Tennessee Titans. I just think that defensive line is going to give Cam Ward hell, just like Denver's defensive line gave him hell. And the difference is, I think the Rams offensively is going to get it together. I just think last week they was trying to work. Stafford ain't been out there playing with them, and they just look a tick off. I think they're going to get it together this week. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams. I think they all get it together, and I just think that they're going to demolish the Titans. I think it's going to be bad. I think Cam going to make some wild throws here and there, but he's going to be running for his life. So I'm gonna take the Jets +6.5. I don't think that's gonna be I don't think that score is gonna be like that. I think they're putting too much stock in Buffalo beating the Ravens, but the Jets always give Josh Allen problems. So I'm taking the +6.5. And then in college, I'm gonna take the -22 Oklahoma over Temple, and I'm gonna take the -27 Missouri over UL Lafayette. All right, people, if you look at the screen, you'll see the QR code for the BetUs website. Okay, all right. You'll see the QR code for the BetUs website. Go ahead and scan that. This is first-time users only. You sign up, you put your information in, you put the promo code 125. Join 125. That's 125% sign-in bonus plus 10% gambler's insurance. That is 3 risk-free bets on your first 3 deposits on $100 up to $5,000, which means if you bet $100 on your first 3 deposit and you lose your bets, you keep your money. So you can keep your money, or you can win you some money over there at BetUs. Go up, sign up, tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. And that does it for our BetUs Short 5 picks. All right, man. Now it's time for our fantasy football starting sits.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. What you got?
So for my start, I love CeeDee Lamb against the New York Giants. I love that. I think CeeDee Lamb, especially, I think he had a decent game. I think he still gave me like 19 points. Obviously he, missed a couple big catches that obviously could have put him up. But I like that. I like CeeDee Lamb against the Giants. I really do. I also like let me see. I also like Puka Nacua against the Tennessee Titans. I think that could be obviously. I think that defense will give this offense a lot more opportunities. We all know the connection that Matthew Stafford has with Puka Nacua. I actually do like that. And then finally, I'm gonna go Jamar Chase against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just think eventually we all know what that's gonna be about, man. I think that's easy pick 'em right there. So those are my three.
Um, running back wise, I'm gonna go Brees Hall. You already saw what Derrick Henry did to that Buffalo defense. I think Brees Hall goes out to maybe not as like 170 yards, like what's his name had, but damn near close to it. So I think Brees Hall has a good day. And then on the flip side, because the Jets didn't look too good, James Cook. I can see James Cook having a good game, so I can see you starting him. As far as wide receiver goes, since Xavier Worthy's out and Rasheed Rice, we all know Marquise Brown is going to be Hollywood Brown is going to be the number one wide receiver. Go ahead and put him in there because he's going to get most of the touches. So I would put him in. Another person is Tyler Warren. I think he's going to be a good red zone threat. So I would put him in. And David Njoku, another guy I would put in too, starting. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Maybe Jordan Love, because I would put Jordan Love in to start. Yeah, I put Jordan Love in.
Sure.
All right, good people. It is time for Maul's favorite segment, Random News. It is now time for Maul's Random News.
All right, everybody. We all know this is our favorite time of the week. This is Chris's favorite time of the week. We love to hear this man's opinions about certain topics that we don't really get a chance to do. Some quick topics, sports, all that stuff like that. So, my man, are you ready? I got a couple for you. See what you think.
Let's get it.
All right, man. First up, it seems like the Chicago Sky could attempt to trade Angel Reese this summer. She expected to draw interest from multiple teams. Multiple WNBA teams will pursue the trade for Chicago Sky star Angel Reese this offseason. Sources told Dallas Hoop Journal. Sky players, coaches, and higher-ups are not happy with Reese after what she said with the Chicago Tribune. Sources said Chicago could attempt to trade Reese this offseason. What are your thoughts with this? Do you think the Chicago Sky should trade her? And if they do, where would you like to see Angel Reese get traded to?
Yes, I do think that the trade should go down. I think that they could build around Camila Cardozo. I think she's starting to finally find her footing with the Chicago Sky. I think Angel Reese, I didn't think she might be just too big of a personality over there. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a change of scenery, may be good for her. Where she can go, that's going to be interesting.
Aces.
Nah, she ain't going to the Aces. They ain't trading that
Aces.
Then if you're going to trade it to the Aces, you're going to have to trade it for Jackie Young. You're going to have to. Yeah, I traded for Jackie Young.
Oh, Kyle Kuzma in the pick, man. We can do that.
You
Kyle
go.
Kuzma in the pick, bro. Come on, man.
We ain't got no picks. We ain't got no number one picks no
Damn.
more.
Nah, my bad. I'm tripping.
Where could she go?
Seattle Storm would be a good spot.
Yeah,
Storm would be a good spot.
her and the French girl would probably be a good little tandem.
Golden State Valkyries,
Yeah, Valkyrie.
that'll be a really
Actually,
good
that would
spot.
be a perfect spot for her because they need a superstar over there.
They do. And I think she can fit with that Golden State mindset. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I agree with you. I think they do need to trade her. I think what she said was I think if they would have been kept inside, I think it might have not been as bad. But for her to go on that kind of way she did it, I just don't think it helped. And I think it hurts that locker room a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, Golden State probably, unless they trade her to one of the expansion teams.
Yeah, I think that could be a possibility too.
Toronto. I can see her at Toronto.
Toronto, I think that'd be, that could be a good look.
She can take pictures with Drake.
Yeah, I could see that. Drake will definitely try to probably hit her up. So that's for sure. I could maybe Dallas, try to pair up with Paige. You know what I mean?
That's
Maybe
a
a
good
situation like that. You know what I mean? Maybe that could be.
That's
a
what
good
they need.
situation.
That's
Yeah.
what they need.
They kind of need that. So I think Dallas would be also a great spot for her.
Yeah.
We'll see what's up. I still think it'll be a little bit shocking if they did go that route because it's just who Angel Reese is. I know maybe the team may not be too fond of her, but she's still one of the most popular players in the league. So
yeah.
Next up, our girl Taraji P. Henson. She turned 55 today. Happy birthday to her.
Man.
So I want to get you, man. What are some of your most memorable favorite moments from Taraji P. Henson? Whether it's one of her acting spots in a movie or TV show. What's your favorite version of Taraji P. Henson?
I mean, the classic. Baby boy, Yvette. Come on, man. That's what we know her for, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the movies she was in. Oh man. I'm trying to think of Hidden Treasures? Isn't that what it's called? Hidden Figures?
So.
Something like that.
Yeah.
She did good in that movie.
Yeah.
I know you're not a big Tyler Perry person, but she was all right in Women Are Loose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of all the movies. Oh, Hustle and Flow.
Hustle Flow.
Here for a pimp. You know what I'm saying?
Go.
She brought that song to life. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
But she's a great actress, man. She does her thing. You know what I'm saying? I think she has pretty good range. She's shown that she has good range. So shout out to her. She was in Color Purple too, the newer version. So she did her thing. So
happy birthday to Taraji. And shout out to my homie, man. I saw homie shoot his shot, seeing her at like a grocery store or something. Hey man, I don't fault you, bro. You got try. You never know. You just never know. Never know. Next up, the NFL finally announced that Jalen Carter will get fined. I think he getting fined $57K, and then they also stated that his 1-game suspension will be they took account his ejection against the Cowboys will be his 1-game suspension. Overall, do you think they got it correct, or do you think
hell no, he's been suspended this week too? No, I was playing. I'm just playing. Look, man, I know Chiefs fans pissed off right now. They think he should have been suspended again this week. But I get what the NFL did. The man didn't play in the game. I get it. It's kind of funky. It's like he was in the game, but he didn't play a snap. And I knew that's what the NFL. I'm not surprised by this. I knew that's what the NFL was going to do. You didn't play. We take your game check. It is what it is. Yeah. You live to fight it. You live to play another game. So it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see.
I want him to play this week because when we beat their ass, I won't want no excuses.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, he will play. Connor, appreciate the comment. We will make our predictions here in a little bit. We'll predict all the games for week 2. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing that in a couple minutes. Next up, the NBA has announced that they will end the end of period heaves will count as a missed field goal attempt for teams and will not count towards a player's field goal percentage. So that'll be the last second half court shots, full court shots, whatever. Seems like the NBA would love to see these players take more opportunities and not affect their stats. Do you think this was a necessary rule change or an unnecessary rule?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's unnecessary. Right? Why?
Yeah.
Like, so who cares? Like, because at the end of the day, you want more last second shots from half court? Like,
Yeah.
really? Like, they're gonna do it if it's a dire situation.
They're gonna do it anyway. Yeah, you know what I mean, like Jokic is the only one who's willing to do it consistently because he just does not care at the end of the day, and then half the time he makes it anyway. So, yeah, I think this is a dumb rule, but I don't see how this makes the NBA better. But that's what they're gonna do. Next up, Uber users, get picked up in the van, get picked up in the Tesla. Now it seems like you might be able to get picked up in the heli. You know what I mean? Seems like Uber users will soon be able to book a helicopter ride through the app operated by Joby Aviation. What's your thoughts with this? Will you take your lady on a little helicopter ride?
Hell to the no. I'm not getting no damn helicopter. You crazy?
Nah, good. Man. Now if it's like a little date, drop you off at like Cheesecake Factory or something like that.
Nah. I don't do heights like that. Door open and shit. Man.
Good. Little trip over the strip. You know what I mean? Nothing like that.
I'm good player. I see the strip when I get on the plane. I see the strip just fine.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Mike Tyson. He recently admitted that he used fentanyl during his boxing career. What are your thoughts with Mike Tyson? What is your overall take on Mike Tyson's boxing career?
Do you really want to do this right now?
I asked you the question, brother. You either answer it or you can plead the fifth.
No, I'm not gonna plead the fifth. I'm gonna answer your question. Look, Mike Tyson was one of the biggest influential boxers in history. We've never seen a force like him before. He came in, and I do believe that he was a skilled boxer. I just feel like because of his troubled upbringing, and then when Cuss died, I just think that he didn't care anymore. And then it was just like once he didn't care, all the people that started coming around, all the vultures, Don King and all the Muslims and all them, they was just taken from him. take. And it's unfortunate because I do think that he was I do think he was a good fighter. I really do. The thing about Tyson, and people are always talking about resumes. I know what's your name? Crawford's resume comes into question. But if you really look at Mike Tyson's resume, it ain't the most impressive.
Yeah.
Like he beat some guys, in the beginning of his career, but like Larry Holmes was like well past his prime. Like he was done. So Michael Spinks, like he was cool, but you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't, I think it was Razor Ruddock. Some dudes was okay, man. Like, but once you start getting later into his career, like when the thing about Tyson is if you get him like in the 6th round, you have a chance to beat him. And that's what a lot of people, he wasn't like later in his career, especially when he came out of jail or prison, he wasn't knocking too many people out like he used to. Like it took a lot. And some people were taking his shots pretty good. And but as far as influential figures in boxing, he's one of he's top 2. And it's not it's him and Ali.
Yeah, that's it.
It's him and Ali.
Mayweather's probably third.
Mayweather's up there. But I'm just talking about just the impact that he had on boxing. Man, I think it's him and Ali. Yeah. And even to this day, people love him. In his redemption, like from what he came from, because people tried to bury Mike Tyson, especially when he went to prison, but he came back and people love him.
I'll probably personally say that Mike Tyson might be the most favorite fighter of all time. I think even more so than Ali. I think Ali is more. I think they're both really recognizable, but I think the love for Mike Tyson. There's love for Ali. Don't get it twisted. I think the Ali name is synonymous to boxing and just sports culture as a whole. But I don't know, something about Mike Tyson where people just, especially the character that he is now, and you see the evolution of his story, I think it's just it's an amazing thing.
You can't talk about 90s pop culture without Mike Tyson.
No, you can't. And that's just what it is, man. Shout out to Mike though. Shout out to Mike. Next up, man, got a couple boxing news that I'm gonna hit with you. Dana White. First up, Dana White has confirmed that he will be making a boxing version of the Contender Series in 2026. I love it. What are your thoughts with that?
I mean, showcase some up and coming fighters. I'm always down for that. You know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah.
probably check it out, see what it's about. He probably have it on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing thing. We see it with UFC. You see a lot of the great superstars that are in the UFC today. Sean O'Malley's, they all came up through the UFC show Contender Series. So I think it's amazing. I think we need more eyes on the younger talent. I think there's a lot of young talent. Me and you have talked about it, Abdul Masons and all those guys that will be potential superstars. So it'd be great. Next up in boxing news, Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach is now a done deal, and will be a super lightweight fight planned for December, per Mike Coppinger. What are your thoughts on this fight, and who do you have as the early favorite?
You know how I feel about Isaac Cruz. I've always said he's overrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just think he's overrated, man. I just think he's a brawler who, you know, I've always said this, because Tank didn't knock him out. That's why everybody like, oh, he hung with Tank. He's one of the top fighters. And it's like,
Yeah.
all right, man. I think Lamont Roach is going to handle him pretty easily. I think he's going to outbox him. That's what I think he's going to do.
Yeah. Your boy Ryan Garcia thinks that Pitbull will win.
I saw that bull. What the hell are you talking about, Ryan? He's a bad matchup, bro. I don't think, bro. I think Lamar Roach is that good of a fighter. Shut up. You just mad because you got knocked out by Javante Dale. You got knocked down. You lost.
Hey, fight Roach. Hey, Ryan, fight Roach.
He don't want them problems.
No, he don't. All right. More in boxing. Anyway, will defend his ring and undisputed super bantamweight world titles against David Picasso on December 27th in Riyadh. Also, Junto Nakatani will make his super bantamweight debut as a co-main event to that Inoue fight. And this will set up a Inoue Nakatani on a collision course for an all-Japanese super fight in 2026. What are your thoughts on that situation in boxing?
I mean, it's good. The thing about Inoue, man, is that we got to get him to fight some guys that on the American soil that's homebred it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way he's gonna get noticed. That's what Manny Pacquiao was. Is that, yeah, this is cool. You fighting these Japanese dudes and whatever. And you know, even though I do think that he made some good adjustments. Last few fights, he was showing a little chink in your armor. You got a little bit of your chin ain't as nice.
Nah. You can get drops.
You get dropped, and it's just gonna take the one dude to just drop your ass really good, knock your ass out. So, you know, I think he's a good fighter, and I think he's good for boxing. I want to see him against the competition. I don't know who these dudes are. So and maybe they're good. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's up. Obviously, Inoue fight will always be exciting, and it'd be good to see Nakatani as well. And then obviously, the biggest news I think as far as like potential fights coming up, I think personally, is Errol Spence and Jamal Charlo are in talks to fight in early 2026, potentially January, February. I think maybe around Super Bowl would be probably a great idea. Mike Coppinger has revealed on Ringside Show that Spence will be returning for the first time since his clash with Terrence Crawford, while Charlo will be back in action for the first time since he faced Canelo Alvarez. What are your thoughts about this potential matchup, and who do you have as an early favorite if it is going to happen?
It's an interesting fight because these dudes were boys. They were in the same fighting camp. They had hung out with each other. Now it looks like, you know, because what's your name sued, I forgot the trainer's name. They trained, but it looks like that there's some little turmoil there. There's a storyline there, so I could see that, you know, going down. I would give Charlo the respect to say that he's the favorite because he's fought in this is his division. I don't know if he still has a belt. I think they stripped him.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I think he stripped him when he went up to fight Canelo, but he did have a belt. He was the undisputed champion at one time at 154. So, I got to give him that respect. You know what I'm saying? So, and we've never seen we haven't seen Errol Spence since Crawford. And I don't know what state of mind he's in. I don't know if that fight mentally cooked him to a point where maybe he gets in there, don't throw his hands, like whatever, he get knocked out. Like it's a possibility. So it's gonna be interesting to see. But I got Charlo as the favorite right now.
I hope that fight does happen because I would love to see these two brothers get back in the ring, especially more Errol. Like I know a lot of people, if you watch this show, we think we are Terrence Crawford fans, but we were also Errol Spence fans. Even with that fight, we just believed that Terrence Crawford was going to be the better fighter that day. We didn't expect him to do that to Errol Spence, but we did expect him to win. I'm a root for Errol Spence. If this fight were to happen, I want to see him succeed. I want to see him get back to the levels of what he could potentially do. I think it's just better for boxing for Errol and Charlo. I think Charlo too. So we'll see. Hopefully they get that signed, still delivered, and we can get that early in 2026. That'd be dope. And then last but not least, Marlon Wayans has listed the recent horror movies that could potentially be spoofed in the new Scary Movie 6. He has stated Sinners, Get Out, Nope, Long Legs, Heretic, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Do you think he should add any other movies, or do you like the list that he has so far of what potentially could get spoofed in Scary Movie 6?
No, I think this is good right here. This is good right here.
Where's Conjuring at? Do some Conjuring. You gotta do Conjuring. I think you got to do Insidious. Like, there's just so many other movies. Like, you can even get kind of weird with some of the the Get Outs and stuff like that. Like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm like, I'm kind of cool. Like, Sinners, I feel like I can already kind of see that. Like, that to me seems like pretty given. Get Out, well, obviously, I think it's a given too. Nope is interesting to me because I personally still don't understand Nope at all, and maybe they can do that. I can see them definitely do a funny spoof. Obviously, Long Legs, I can definitely see something funny. I could definitely see Marlon dressing up as the Nicolas Cage character in that. So that should be interesting. I think they should add Conjuring though and Insidious. I think those two have been big pioneers in the scary movie game, and I think those should definitely be highlighted for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, man. That's it, man. That's it from Random News, man. We'll be back next Wednesday with some more. Hopefully get sponsored by somebody.
All right, man. It's time to do our NFL Week 2 predictions.
Let's do it.
Let me boost this track up. All right, man, let's go ahead and do it. So we got Thursday night football tomorrow. We got the Washington Commanders traveling to the Green Bay Packers. Both of them coming off of dubs. Green Bay had a dominating win over the Lions, and Washington had a pretty decent win over the Giants. I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers because they're at home. I think they're riding high. I think that crowd's gonna be rocking. I think it's gonna be a good game. But I'm going to go with Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with a score of 27-24.
Yeah, man. I think this is going to be, obviously, I'm excited that they gave us a legit Thursday night game. Sometimes these Thursday night games can be a little bit rough, especially when you get in the heart of the season. But I'm going to go with the Commanders, man. I think they're going to go on the road and upset the Green Bay Packers. I just think that Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, they're still trying to find their rhythm, but Debo looked amazing. Krosky Moret, I think he looked good. I think this defense could potentially give some problems to the Green Bay Packers. I'm still not convinced about this wide receiving core. I think Matthew Golden will be really good, but he's still a rookie in this game. The rest of these guys, Romeo Dobbs, I like Jaden Reed, but some of these guys you still can't trust. So I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders to go in and upset them, and I got the score being 27-23.
You got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Both of them coming off of a win. Jacksonville kind of handled the Panthers. Bengals probably should have lost to the Browns. It was a very defensive type of game. I think that this time, I think the Bengals offense will get a uptick of points. I think Jamar Chase goes off. I think T. Higgins has a good game. I think Chase Brown gets involved. Jacksonville, I think they're going to be in there for a little bit, but I do think Cincinnati's going to pull away. And I got Cincinnati winning 35-27.
I'm gonna do the upset again, man. I'm gonna go with the Jags to beat the Bengals on the road. I just think that this is a better team. I think offensively, you would probably give the edge to the Bengals, but I think they do have a lot of weapons. I think ETN looked really good. I still think this Bengals defense is terrible. Even with Henderson, with the likes of Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas, Travis Etienne. I think it all comes down to Trevor Lawrence, and if he can give these guys the ball and give them a true opportunity to score, and if he can do that and not turn the ball over, I personally think Jacksonville wins this, and I'm gonna go 28-17.
Okay. You got the LA Rams traveling to Tennessee to face the Titans and Cam Ward. Last time we saw Cam Ward, he was running for his life. Last time we saw LA Rams, their defensive line was giving CJ Stroud the blues. I'm going with the LA Rams. I just think they're the better team. I think that offense is going to be better this week. I think Matthew Stafford's going to have a few touchdowns. And I think that defensive line is just going to get after Tennessee. I got the Rams winning 28-10.
Yeah, I'm gonna pray for Cam Ward, and I hope he's able to get through this game unscathed because he's about to go through it. Hopefully they can lean on the running game a little bit more. I think Pollard didn't have a bad game, but I got the Rams winning this, and I agree with you. I'm gonna go 24-7. I think Rams win.
You got New England Patriots traveling to face their in-division rival Miami Dolphins. Last time we saw the Dolphins, they were getting the beats put on them from the Colts. Your Raiders beat the New England Patriots. I got the Patriots winning. I think the Dolphins is the worst team in the NFL. I think we're going to get a Tyreek Hill sideline blow up.
Might even get the Antonio Brown walking off with the deuces.
maybe. But Tua just looked like he's regressed. I know it's week 1, but he just doesn't look right at all. He has no strength. He never really had any strength in his arm, but he really looks like he can't push the ball down the field. And with all that talent over there, that's just – and I just think the team has checked out on Mike McDaniels, unfortunately. He might just be a better coordinator than just a head coach. I'm going with the Patriots. I got a score of – I'm gonna go 21-6.
Yeah, it's bad when we're in week 2 and this team already looks like that they're ready for the offseason. Like it's bad. You know what I mean? They just have a lot of unnecessary noise, whether it's from the coaching that is not uplifting this team and putting them in the right position, whether it's that they're nervous and scared of Tua's health every second, every moment that he's on that football field, because all it takes is one hit for him to be gone pretty much for the rest of the year, maybe even his career. And we don't want to see that happen. Obviously, you have all the outside noise with Tyreek Hill and his baby mama and all that type of situation, trade rumors, Jalen Waddle getting hurt. I'm not the biggest fan of Drake May. I still think there's a lot of stuff to be seen, but we got to see. I don't know if Christian Gonzalez is playing, but I think Trevion Henderson is going to have a day. I think he's going to have a day. I think he's going to run all over this defense. I think Drake May is going to hit Stephon Diggs and get some positive yards. I'm going to go with Patriots, and I'm going to go 23-10.
Okay. The Buffalo Bills travel to their individual rivalry, New York Jets. Last time we saw Justin Fields, he was having a duel with Aaron Rodgers, and he came up just a little bit short. Buffalo, they came back against the Ravens, down 15, and they probably were 14 or 15. But they should have lost. I think that this is a bad matchup for Buffalo. I think that defense is going to get after Josh Allen. I think that defense is going to play a lot better for the Jets. I think Justin Fields can have a day. I think Brees Hall is going to have a pretty good day. Garrett Wilson. I think Josh Allen is going to keep them in the game, but I got the Jets winning 24-21.
I agree with you. I think this could be one of the upsets of the week. I know a lot of people have the Bills as being one of the better teams, and I understand it because you got Josh Allen, MVP. He put on a Superman performance, but I think there was a lot of luck with that Ravens team. He had to get a lucky bounce with that couple that got caught by Keon Coleman. That defense looked horrid. I get it. It was against the Baltimore Ravens, and they could do that to anybody, but that defense looked putrid. I know they got a couple saves from Ed Oliver, but at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna go with the Jets, and I'm gonna go. Let's go 23-17.
The Cleveland Browns are traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. Sometimes I think the Browns. Now, listen, I think the Browns give Baltimore a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Like usually when they face each other, Baltimore usually loses this game.
Yeah.
But I think the way that game ended on Sunday night, I think that they understand the assignment. It's going to be a tough dog fight, but I'm going Baltimore with a score of, I'm going to go 24-21 Baltimore.
I think the Baltimore Ravens are embarrassed how that game ended against Buffalo. We all know when we looked at that 3.5 quarters, Baltimore Ravens were the best team in the league. They looked like the best team in the league. They looked like they had the MVP, and they looked like they had the offensive player of the year, all in one. We expect more from this defense. The Browns can't score. I think they are still trying to figure out their running game. I know they got Dylan Sampson. We got to see what's up with Quinshon Judkins and Jerome Ford and all those guys. They are very talented. But receiving core wise, they do leave a little bit to be desired. They still got Jerry Jeudy, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And all that. So
because he was the one that the ball pound.
Yeah. So I got the Ravens winning, and I got the Ravens winning big. I got them winning 31-14.
I'm not mad at it. You got the New York Giants traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants look terrible on offense. Defensively, at first, like they was holding Jaden Daniels down, but eventually Jaden Daniels and them just cracked it and got their points that they needed to win. But on offense, Russell Wilson, he's a statue back there. He can't do nothing. And that defensive line was just getting after him. And look, they don't have the Cowboys don't have like crazy defensive linemen on their line. I know they brought in Jadeveon Clowney for a tryout or whatever. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys because I just think they're gonna be able to score on them, and I think Dak Prescott's gonna have a good game. I think CD Lamb has a bounce back game. I think George Pickens has a couple of good catches, and I got the Cowboys winning 28-17.
Yeah, this game can. I think this game could be a little weird. I think this game could go either way. Maybe the Giants kind of get their stuff together. This is a divisional game. I think they play the Cowboys pretty tough for the most part. We can get a big Malik Neighbors game. We could get a big Tracy Jr. game. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to side with the Cowboys. I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than what people anticipated. I think Dak Prescott is probably just a better quarterback. CeeDee Lamb and all of them. I think they're just clicking better than this Giants offense. I'm going to go let's go 27-24.
You got the Chicago Bears traveling to Detroit to face the Lions. The Lions just got embarrassed by the Packers last week. Chicago, they had a collapse in the second half. Caleb Williams, I don't know, man. I got to see more from him. Him and Ben Johnson, they're still trying to figure each other out because Ben is a rookie head coach to himself. Even though he does know Detroit and how they're going to run certain things, so I'm sure he's going to be tipping off Dennis Allen on how to defend them. But I just think Detroit's a better team right now, even though they didn't show it. I think that they're going to do a heavy dose of Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs this week. I think it's going to be a lot of play action pass, a lot of quick throws to Amon St. Brown and Sam Laporta. Get the ball out quick, Jared Goff's hands. And I'm rolling with the Detroit Lions to bounce back with a score of, I'm going to go 24-14.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are hard on Caleb Williams. I thought for the most part he played a decent game. I think the way he bounced back, especially in that fourth quarter, to bring them down, get the touchdown, get him to a one-score game. I get it was a little bit too late. I think the beginning part of the game, I think he was just trying so hard not to make the mistake, not to make the turnover. He was checking down a lot. Perfect while doing it. I thought he made correct decisions. It was certain aspects where you wish he would have hit it. I know you kind of talked about it with DJ Moore and some of one with Roma Dunze. But that defense has injuries. I don't think Jalen Johnson's playing. I think they're hurt on the back end. I think the one gentleman, I forgot his name, the guy that got the pick six, I think he even got hurt on Monday. I'm not sure if he's gonna play. Jordan Mason showed that this D line is getting gashed every time. It's like Jordan Mason was just doing that. And now you're going up against David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs. Like that's not going to be good. So with the combination of the injuries in the back end, the front line not be able to stop the run, I expect the Detroit Lions. I know Ben Johnson's going to try to do something to try to get this offense going. Maybe feature Luther Burden maybe a little bit more or something like that. Maybe do something like that. He's going to try something because he wants to. This is a matchup that he's been kind of waiting for. He left his team, but we all know Detroit's going to want to answer to that, and Dan Campbell. So I'm going to go with Detroit. I think Knuckles and Sonic have a big game, and I'm going to go 31-21.
You got San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Superdome to face the New Orleans Saints. Spencer Rattler. He didn't look too bad in his opening.
No.
He didn't look too bad against the what they played, the Falcons?
They played the Cardinals.
But he didn't look too bad. This is a difficult game because now Brock Purdy's not playing. You got Mac Jones as the backup. He's solid. Huh?
George Kittle's out.
Yeah, George Kittle was out. So it's gonna be the Ricky Purcell CMC show. I'm gonna go San Francisco. I think CMC is gonna have a pretty big game. Ricky Purcell, he looks like he's emerging as their number one wide receiver right now until Brandon Ayuk comes back. So I'm gonna roll with San Francisco. It's gonna be an ugly, ugly game, but I got a score of 17-7.
Yeah, it's tough. I think Spencer Rattler had a decent game. I think Alvin Kamara looked cool, but I think this is going to be Robert Saleh 2.0 game, like we saw last week. I think it's going to be an ugly game. They're going to keep it close, and then maybe Christian McCaffrey just pops one, or maybe Ricky Purcell gets a big catch or something like that. But this defense, as long as this defense stays healthy, this defense is going to be really good. I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same score that we got with the Seattle Seahawks that they got last week. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 17-13 game or a 13-10 type of game. I wouldn't be surprised.
The Seattle Seahawks traveled to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, like I stated before, had one of his better games we've seen in a long time from him. The Seattle defense, they probably made some blips. Tyreek Woolen, he had a couple chances to get some picks off of Brock Purdy, probably to seal the game. He's going to be motivated to try to get some picks off of Aaron Rodgers. I think this Seattle defensive line could be a problem for Aaron Rodgers. I know they're going to be at home. There's going to be their season opener at home. So that Pittsburgh crowd is going to be rocking. I don't trust this run game yet for the Steelers. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think they're going to they're going to just tell Sam Darnold, don't mess it up. Make a few throws to JSN and Cooper Kupp. But I think this running game for Seattle is going to keep Aaron Rodgers and them off the field. And I got Seattle winning 24-17.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm at the point where I think there's gonna be a lot of road teams that win this week. You know what I mean? I think this might be the week that more road teams win than home teams. And I know a lot of people are high on what they saw from Aaron Rodgers, but again, that defense didn't look really good. But then again, I'm also scared to put my faith in Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Like that's just neither there. But I think Jackson Smith-Njigba, he had a really great game. He had over 100 yards. That defense played really well against the San Francisco 49ers, even with Brock Purdy and how we feel about him. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks, and I think they win. Let's go 23-21.
You got the Denver Broncos traveling to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Both teams coming off of wins. Colts were more impressive with their win than the Broncos. Their offense was kind of mid at best. They really couldn't get no running game going. Bo Nix, he looks like he's Cortland. Throw the ball up to the court and tell him, wish for a prayer.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the Colts are just a little bit more of a well-oiled machine. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think both defenses are going to give each other problems. But I just think the Colts offense is just better. And I think Daniel Jones makes a few plays. I think Jonathan Taylor has a pretty big game. I'm going with the Colts, man. I got the Colts winning. I'm going to go 31-24.
Yeah, obviously you want to keep an eye on Charvarius Ward, see if he's able to get out of concussion protocol and play. But I agree with you. Both of these defenses are really good. I just think that the Colts defense is a little bit more opportunistic with the likes of Cameron Bynum and if Charvarius Ward can play. And then obviously I think I like this offense a little bit more than what the Broncos have to offer. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, all those guys. I agree with you. I think this is going to be a slugfest. I could see this game being like a 20-17 type of game. Colts.
The Arizona Cardinals coming off a win over the Saints. Carolina didn't look too good against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Carolina is going to play a lot better than what they played in Jacksonville. It's hard to play in Jacksonville, man. It really is. That sun, it gets the beaming on you, boy.
They had a weather delay too that lasted like over an hour or so.
That too. So probably sucked the energy out of them too. Kyler Murray wasn't like impressive, but they got the job done. And that defense actually played really well for for the Cardinals. This is gonna go against my playoff pick for the Panthers. But I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're at home. I think that Kyler Murray is gonna have a solid game. Marvin Harrison Jr. Is going to have a pretty decent game. I think that running game with Trey Benson and James Conner is going to come through. And I think they keep Arizona at bay. I think their defense does enough to make Bryce Young maybe get a pick or something like that. Will what's his name? Will Johnson? Is that his name?
Yeah, Will Johnson.
I think he's going to lock up Ted McMillan, and they're going to have to rely on Xavier Legette, and I have no reason to trust him right now.
Yeah. No.
So, and I don't know what's going to happen with Chuba Herbert. I don't think he's going to he'll have a solid game, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I'm rolling with the Arizona Cardinals. I got them winning. I'm going to go 28-17.
Yeah. All signs point that the Cardinals should win this game. You know what I mean? And then when you really think about it, you really question why the Carolina Panthers traded Adam Thielen away. I don't know if it was like something that he requested to try to be closer to home or something like that. So, okay, cool. I respect that. But for me to better my team, I would have told Adam Thielen, I need you here, brother. We'll pay you a little bit more. You know what I mean? We need you here. Because you were one of the main reasons why this offense looked a little bit better, minus Bryce Young being a little bit more confident. I said all signs point to Arizona Cardinals that they should win this game. But this also screams that this is a game that they lay an egg in and the Carolina Panthers win. I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers. I think the Carolina Panthers bats back. I think Tet has a big game. I think Chuba has a decent game. I think Bryce Young looks like what he did at the end of the last season. And I think they squeeze out a win. And I think they beat the Cardinals 24-23.
Got the Eagles coming to Arrowhead, man, for the Super Bowl rematch. I know there's no Xavier Worthy. There's no Rasheed Rice. I think that there's reports that Dallas Goedert might not be playing in this game. And Landon Dickerson, that he might not be available either. So that's going to be, detrimental to their offensive line. Look, I know everybody's going to be picking against the Chiefs. We didn't look good in our opener, but I'm rolling with the boys at home. I think Andy Reid's going to cook some stuff up. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to have a solid game to keep everything at bay. I think Marquise Brown is going to have a solid game. Travis Kelce is going to provide red zone and third down stuff. Tyquan Thornton is going to be the X factor in this game. That's who's going to be the X factor. And I think he's going to get a couple deep shots over Adoree Jackson. And I think the Chiefs win 27-24.
The Eagles are the better team. I don't care what anybody says. Travis Kelce looks old. No Rashee Rice. No Xavier Worthy. You're depending on Marquise Brown. You're depending on a running game that's inconsistent, that ain't good. Isaiah Pacheco is running. Looks like he's running for 20 yards, but only gains 3. Like Patrick Mahomes is. I think they still have problems with that O-line. Jalen Carter's playing. I get it. Landon Dixon is a big proponent to that offensive line, but they still got Saquon. They still got A.J. Brown. They still got Devontae Smith. Philadelphia is winning this game. And they're going to win 27-17.
And you got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Minnesota. Atlanta's coming off a tough loss to the Buccaneers. And then Vikings had that big win over the Bears on Monday Night Football. I like what I've seen from Michael Penix Jr. It's going to be interesting to see if Darnell Mooney plays this game. I did like what I saw from Michael Penix. He pretty much willed them, put them on his back and willed them back into this game. But I just think that Blind Flores is just going to throw the pain at him and force him into a couple picks. And I got Vikings winning. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to build off of this win. And, I think he's going to be solid. I ain't saying he's going to be a world beater. But I do think that the Vikings are going to win at home. It's hard to beat them at home, too. So I got them winning on Sunday Night Football. Score of, I'm going to go 28-24.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything in your sentiments. I'm pretty impressed with Michael Penix, Bijan Robinson. Kyle Pitts had a decent game last week. But I just think the confidence with the Minnesota Vikings going in, Jordan Mason, that defense, I agree with you. I think this could be – I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high-scoring game. I would not be surprised at all. I could see this being like a 34-31 type of game. But I'm an edge with the Vikings, though, as well.
Then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Houston Texans. Houston did not look good at all against the Rams. Their offensive line is still an issue. They had an injury on the offensive line. C.J. Stroud looks like he's struggling out there.
Yeah.
The running game is pretty much non-existent. It might have been that defensive line, but hell, Tampa Bay's defensive line is not bad with Vita Vea. I think.
No, pretty good.
Yeah, Vita Vea. They got some other guys on their defensive line too. And then the weapons for Tampa Bay are just got Mika Buke. Looks like he's going to be the heir apparent to Mike Evans.
Yeah.
So I think they got another one. Then you got Tez Johnson, too, over there, who's going to provide some speed, too. And then, of course, Old Faithful Mike Evans is going to do his thing. Bucky Irvin is a baller. Rashad White, no slouch himself. Auden. So, yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay wins. Until I see it with C.J. Stroud in this team, I have no faith in them right now. So I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. I got them winning 27-10.
Damn, that's insane. That's crazy. I understand that the Texans did not look good offensively, but that defense still looked really good. I think that defense is still could be one of the best. I think honestly, I think they match up pretty well against the Bucks. I'm gonna take the Texans. I think I'm gonna stick with CJ Stroud. I think they find a way to win. I think the excitement in the building, their first home game Monday night. I think CJ Stroud likes to. I think he plays up to primetime games. I think he really does. I think they're gonna bounce back. I think they win. I think they win 21-17. I think that defense holds that Buccaneers offense in check because I think that Texas defense is really good. It's really good.
It is. You got the Chargers coming out here to Las Vegas to face your Raiders. Chargers look really good against my Chiefs. Your Raiders look pretty solid against the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. I know Bob Bowers had left the game with a leg injury, but they said he'll be fine. I'm gonna go with your Raiders, man. I think that the Chargers kind of blew their, for a lack of a better term, blew their load against the Chiefs.
That's crazy.
Pause.
That's wild.
And I think they put all their eggs in that basket against the Chiefs because they just sick and tired of losing to the Chiefs. And I think they're gonna come back down to earth in this game. I think it's gonna be a close game. I ain't saying y'all gonna blow them out or anything, but
Nah.
I think they're gonna come back down to earth. And I got the Raiders winning 35-31.
Sir, Monday night is gonna be loud. It's gonna be a lot of black jerseys in that thing. A lot of black jerseys. That place is gonna be rocking.
because ain't no Charger fans.
That place is gonna be rocking. I think we finally get an Ashton Genty big game. I think we finally get an Ashton Genty 100-yard game. Brock Bowers, he's healthy. Michael Mayer looks really good. I think Dante Thornton, Jacoby Myers. I think we have a lot of levels to that offense. And I think our defense ain't that bad. I know we're still young, we're still learning, but Max Crosby is going to give Justin Herbert a lot of fits. And I think the Raiders do it, man. I think we go 2-0. I think we beat them. I think we become the top in our division. And I got us winning. I'm going to go 27-24. I think we win last second field goal.
For sure. For sure. Staying 31-27. I don't know who that's for, but he got his Giants winning 24-17.
We'll see what's up. See what happens.
All right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man. Excited for the fights, man. Can't wait to watch that, man. Hopefully everybody has a safe weekend and enjoys week 2 in college football and the fight.
Yeah, for sure. If you look at the screen, man, you'll see the QR code for the WWE shop, man. Go ahead and scan that. Get your latest and merch from all your WWE superstars. AJ Lee is back into the WWE, going to get her merch. See that CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Asuka, all kinds of other superstars. LA Knight, Jay Uso looks like he's about to turn bad. He's like he about to turn to a heel. But yeah, go on and get your latest WWE merch by scanning that QR code. If you want to donate to our Cash App, you can donate to the $ Cris Style Mal podcast. We'll greatly appreciate anything that you would like to donate to us. So yeah, hit up our Cash App. Whatever social media platform that you use to listen to your podcast, like Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, any of those platforms, Cris Style Mal podcast is available. First time watchers on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesdays 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can jump in the live. You can talk about these topics. We want to hear from you. We want to get your opinion, whether you agree with us or disagree with us. We want to hear from you. If you agree with our picks today, our college picks, our top 10 power rankings, our Bud Crawford Canelo. How do you feel about that? Any of our stuff. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section if you're listening on the playback, but don't forget to subscribe. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, Kick, whatever you use to do your social media on, you can follow us at Cris Style Mal. We will follow you back. We're just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. So go ahead and follow us. If you have critiques or feedback, or if you have a question or topic that you want us to bring up on the show, and we like said topic or question, we will bring it up. We will shout you out because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, emails, or our mentions. All right, good people. Until Monday, we recap everything over the weekend from the fight to week 2 and 3 of college and NFL football. Also, we'll get into some WNBA stuff because the playoffs start on Sunday, and the Aces do play tomorrow, so they probably will get that number 2 seed. So until then, hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Be safe out there. If you're out here in Vegas for the fight, be safe, man. Don't do nothing that we wouldn't do. And don't be getting in no fights out here, man, because we don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful.
Nah, yeah, for real.
And be responsible, man. Take a Uber. Don't drive drunk. Okay? So until Monday, we out, y'all.
Peace out.